Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Suns potentially trading for TJ McConnell. It has been reported the Suns are looking for a point guard. They want to trade for a point guard, and it has been the most recent report is the Suns want a true point guard. And I think about someone, I look at free agency. Suns don't have a lot of money. If you're looking at a true point guard that's going to be a starting point guard, I don't think there's. I mean, maybe Kyle. I think really in free agency, the only guy I would think of is Kyle Lowry. Maybe if Chris Paul gets cut, he's a guy that the Suns could afford. But honestly, I don't see him coming back. Chris Paul with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and Durant would be nice, but honestly, I don't think Chris Paul is going to go back there. But, I feel like Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry would be options, right? Because they could afford those guys. But looking at the trade market, I think TJ McConnell is one of the guys that the Suns could afford in a trade because, he is he's in his last year of his deal. So after this season, after the 24-25 season, he will be a free agent. So this upcoming season after this NBA Finals are over, and we go to the 24-25 season. The 24-25 season is his last contract year with the Indiana Pacers. So, after that season, he will go into free agency. So that means his trade value is a little bit less than it would be if he had 3 or 4 or 2 years on his deal. Now, TJ McConnell also, is a great player, and he just had a great season with the Pacers, great postseason as well. 71 games with 4 starts and 18 minutes per game. He had a field goal percentage of 50. His field goal percentage was 55% this past season. Had an absolutely great season with the Pacers. I'm going to go over his postseason because his postseason was even better than the regular season. He averaged 20 minutes per game and averaged 12 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, 1 steal per game. Now, in the regular season, he averaged 10 points per game, 6 assists per game, 2.5 rebounds per game, shot 41% from 3, but only averaged 0.6 3-point attempts per game, and his field goal percentage was 55%. So what do you give up for TJ McConnell? There's not a lot of assets you can give up. Obviously, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant is, you don't need to give up one of those guys to get TJ McConnell. Grayson Allen is someone who just recently got signed to an extension. I don't see the Suns wanting to move him. So someone I look at is potentially Yusuf Nurkic is to potentially get moved. Now, yes, the Pacers have Miles Turner and would be the point of bringing him in. With Miles Turner in, we're already starting at center, but, Yusuf Nurkic is a great option as a backup center. He's a great player as well. He's averaged, nearly a triple-double this past season. Yusuf Nurkic averaged like 10, 11, and 5 or 6, I believe. Let me pull it up just to make sure. But Yusuf Nurkic this past season with the Phoenix Suns, his first year with Phoenix, Yusuf Nurkic averaged 11 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. Okay, so I was a little bit wrong there. I thought it was 5 or 6 assists he averaged this past season. But I feel like Yusuf Nurkic is definitely, obviously the Suns wouldn't want to get rid of TJ McConnell and the spark he provides off the bench. But, honestly, I feel like they potentially would if, I think if you add in like someone else, another player, because the Suns also have someone else. I'm trying to think of the guy's name that the Suns have, that another guy that has a contract. They just got him in a trade. I can't think of who it is, but the Suns have another player or two that are on contract that they can give. They can give 2 players this to the Pacers if like Nurkic isn't enough. They have other players on their roster outside of Nurkic who you could put in the deal. The guy I was thinking about is Josh Okogie. It's not Josh Okogie. Yeah, I believe it was Josh Okogie I was thinking about. No, not just it was Nasir Little. My bad. Nasir Little is the guy that they acquired in the DeAndre Ayton trade from Portland. So you could acquire, you could put in Nasir Little in the trade with Yusuf Nurkic and pair those two guys together and send them to Indiana and get TJ McConnell, and then you could add in TJ McConnell. He'd be the starting point guard. You'd have Beal at the shooting guard. Obviously, you'd have Booker at the 3. Durant would be at the 4. Now, the question is, who's at the 5? Now, Drew Eubanks is a very good backup center, and he had a great season. Do you stick with Drew Eubanks? But the Suns also have the 22nd overall pick, and I really believe adding in a guy like Zach Edey would be great. I think there are many options if you don't pick Edey in the first round at pick 22, because you have Bol, who, yes, is not a natural center. He's probably more a power forward than, even though at his size, if you look at his size, you'd think center, but he's more of a power forward than he's a center. You could start Bol and Kevin Durant together, which wouldn't be great, but it'd be okay. Or you could start Drew Eubanks, but I look at a guy like Zach Edey, who's going into this draft, who I think at his size and shot blocking, and I think the way he's going to be able to score the basketball in this league, he's going to be a great player, because defenders aren't going to be able to guard Zach Edey. So just like Joel Embiid, Zach Edey's going to get a lot of foul calls. I really believe Zach Edey's going to get a lot of foul calls in this league, with players not being able to guard him. Just like we see with Wembanyama, just like we see with Joel Embiid. I know this is a smaller player, not really tall like guys like Wembanyama and Embiid or Zach Edey, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is another guy who's a really tough guy to guard in this league. That's a reason why he gets a lot of free throws. People complain when guys like Shai and Joel Embiid get a lot of free throws, but the reason they get a lot of free throws is because they are some of the best players in the league, and they are some of the hardest guys to guard in the league, and defenders can't guard them, so they foul. Now Embiid and Wembanyama, one of the reasons why they probably get a little bit more free throws are probably because of the fact that they are taller, so it's even more harder to guard them. Not only are they talented players, but they're taller. So I think the same thing's going to happen with Zach Edey in the NBA, because he had that treatment in college. I think he's going to get that in the NBA. And him next to Durant, and him with a team that is full with great guard talent who can get him the basketball, TJ McConnell, who would be acquired in a trade, and then Beal and Booker at the 2 and 3. I feel like Zach Edey would thrive with a Suns team that has TJ McConnell and the star player, the star power that the Suns have. So 2 transactions I'd love to see the Suns make this offseason is trading for TJ McConnell. I think he'd be a great addition, and drafting Zach Edey. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade for the Phoenix Suns, and peace out.